What is up, YouTube? It's been a while. I've been busy, school, work, rugby, etc. But hopefully I'm back now. Hopefully I can start posting consistently again. If you think I sound funny, I do. I have a cold, but we're good to record, make some YouTube videos. We shall jump back into the Building a Vulnerable Machine series. If you haven't watched the first part of the series, go ahead and do that. It outlines most of the details, but for now, let's just get straight into it. I have a VM running here. This is a Commando VM. I use it for just Windows stuff because I don't want to use my actual machine. So I have a folder for UGC. If I ever want to make a box for for try hack me, hack the box, offsec, I'll just make it in here. That is what we're going to do. The first thing we need to do is actually make the directory for the machine we want to make, which is Naruto. And I already have Vagrant and VirtualBox installed on this machine. So if you haven't done that, go ahead and do that. It's really easy. If you're on Windows, just download the installation files and install. I have no idea what you have to do on Linux or Mac. You might want to figure that out. But I'm pretty sure if you're trying to make a vulnerable machine, you know how to install software. Moving on, the first thing we'd want to do is initialize the folder for building a machine. And to do that, we need to pick a machine image. And so we need to go out to the interwebs and go to Vagrant boxes. I will be using Ubuntu 18. No, boxes, not boxes, bro. There we go. I'll be using Ubuntu 18 because it is very stable. If you want to use Ubuntu 22 or whatever latest version it is that it's out there, you can go ahead, but Ubuntu 18 works. It's supported by all platforms. Try hack me, hack the box, etc. Am I recording? Yes, I am recording. Yeah, so Ubuntu 18, we can look that up. I'm pretty sure it's called Bionic 64. Ubuntu 18, there we go, Ubuntu Bionic 64. So if you don't know some of the commands I'll be using, you can look at the documentation for Vagrant. Most of the commands are pretty simple. Vagrant up to boot up a machine, Vagrant destroy to destroy a machine, Vagrant init to initialize the folder, Vagrant SSH to SSH into the machine, you just boot it up. It's pretty simple. Those are most of the commands we're going to be using. So we need to initialize this folder first before we can actually build a machine. So we're going to run Vagrant init, the name of the machine we want to use, which is Ubuntu Bionic 64. So after that, the folder is currently empty, as you can probably tell. But now we have a Vagrant file, and I'm gonna just open up this folder in code. So now we have a Vagrant file. It looks pretty much bloated and intimidating, but most of this is just straightforward. I already have a template that I use, so I'm gonna just copy and paste that in here and show you what it looks like. So at the top here, we have our configuration. I don't usually change that. We're using Bionic 64. If you want to put the host name of the machine here, you are free to do so, but you don't have to. You can do that in your installation script, which we are going to be making. And I cannot spell Naruto anymore. I don't need to install the update, bro. I'm good. And the provider settings, like I said, we're using VirtualBox. If you're using VMware, this is where you specify that. If you want to specify certain memory, you can do that, CPUs, etc. Network settings, if you wanted to port forward to your local IP address, this is where you do that, right? If you wanted to put on a private network with a specific IP address, you do that right here. If you wanted to put it on a public network, I'm pretty sure if you do this, every time you spin up a new machine, it gets a new IP address. We don't want to do that. We want one specific IP address. You might get an error if you use a CIDR range. That's pretty weird. Just then use the CIDR range they give you in the error message, and that should fix the error, right? And then we have a folder sync settings. We're gonna make a folder in this directory called data. It is gonna be synced to a root folder. It's gonna be synced to the data folder in the root directory of the machine we make, and the data on our local machine is gonna have all the scripts and installation stuff we need for the box, right? So if you have any zip files, any configuration files, they're gonna be in there. They're gonna get copied onto the machine you build, and then we delete them, right? If you wanted to run commands straight from this Vagrant file, you could, but we don't want to do that because we want to provide whatever platform we're submitting to an installation script to run, right? So we're gonna make that installation script by uncommenting this. So our installation script is gonna be in the data folder that we need to make right now. We'll call this data and then make our installation script, right? Installation commands for that is our installation script. This is where we're gonna put all our commands. So we want to see a box running, right? It should be quick and easy. Automation, yay, we love automation. So before I actually spin up a machine, I just want to update the repos, which is something you should do. Update repos, apt, update, and all these commands are going to run as the sudo user. So you don't have to specify sudo unless you want to. And then what else do we want? We want to maybe install Apache so that we actually just see that it works. Install Apache, apt install. Always remember to put the -y because it's not interactive. It's not going to prompt you to actually put -y. So if you don't have the -y, it's not going to install whatever you want to install. Apache 2. And before we run this, I want to have red text so that we can actually see what we're doing. I think it's echo-n. I always forget the color though. Red text in terminal Linux. Oh my goodness, that is not how you spell terminal. Linux, there you go. Is this it? Probably. Come on, perfect. So echo-n. So we don't actually need comments. We just need echo-n. Take this out. Installing Apache. Copy. Oops. Remove this. Updating repos. So we're going to be copying and pasting this red stuff because I'm too lazy to type it out every time. Right. So now if we go back to our terminal and run Vagrant up, it should make the box. It doesn't take too long if your installation script is short, but the bigger your installation script, the longer it's going to take to spin up. But it is a lot quicker than using an ISO, building the ISO, installing the ISO, going through all the prompts, etc. But for now, just fast forward this and I'll be right back as soon as it's done. Okay, so this is done. Our machine has booted up. It is up and running. We didn't get any errors, but as you can see, this is all it did. It installed Apache here, as you can see from a red text. It updated the repos, mounted the folders, etc, yada, yada, yada. We already know the IP address of the machine, right? So we can either Vagrant SSH into the machine to start configuring it, or we could take a look at the Apache website, which should be on this IP address. If we go back to Firefox, thank you, Mr. O'Reilly, we have this default Ubuntu page, right? So we know that Ubuntu is running on this machine. It worked properly. If we Vagrant SSH into the machine, we will get into the machine using SSH as the user Vagrant, right? And then we can start configuring things, etc. As you can see, we have this. It has two network adapters. This is an internal one for your NAT network if you wanted to interact with another machine on your VirtualBox thingy. And then this is just the IP address we gave it. The private IP address we can visit and see whatever is running on whatever port, right? So what I usually like doing when configuring or building a machine is running the command on the machine first and then putting it in my installation script in case I mistype it in the installation script and I don't see that. So if we run a command here and it's successful, we then put it in our installation script. So that is how we're going to be building up this machine. And in the next video, we're going to start configuring SSH and FTP and then move on from there. But for now, that is it for this video. I'll catch you in the next one.